Well, they had a 2-0 lead, and then what happened? Sharks lose this one. We'll break this one down and what it means for you to get excited about the first overall pick, maybe? Right now on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. April 9th, 2024. The Sharks fall short to the Calgary Flames 3-2 in overtime. We welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark, your live and interactive Sharks postgame. We do this after every game. Why? Because we love the Sharks way too much. So if you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world and in Sharks territory on the YouTube page or the app, if you're watching us live, of course. And, of course, we all encourage you to follow us on all the social media content. And if you want more, hit us up at tealtownusa.com. Of course, if you want to support the show, you can keep the lights on by donating on Venmo at tealtownusa, or hit us up in a super chat if you're watching live. Of course, if you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you. Just leave a comment down below and give us a thumbs up on the way out the door. And with that, we have 4 more games, and then we're out the door. Ian, how are you, bud?
Great, because we have 4 more games, and then I'm out the door.
Oh man, I mean, you'll miss our chats, our like our every other day chats and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? Because I feel like this season, last season, at the end of last season, I just didn't want to do anything for the whole summer. This year, I think I will have my normal reaction to the season ending. It's like, yay, the season's over. No more of these awful Shark games. But then I'll be sad at the same time, because it's like I don't get to do this on the regular, which it's always an adjustment. Once there stops being things for us to talk about regularly. It's always an adjustment, kind of adjusting to that, because you get so used to doing that, right? I mean, it's pretty much, I don't think there's been very many weeks that have gone by where I haven't done this at least once. So it's always an adjustment. I mean, we'll do summer content. We usually do, and I think this year, I don't feel, talking to other people, the level of burnout from last year. I think that a lot of people are really burnt out. I don't feel that from people this time, and maybe it's because I feel fine. So, maybe everyone's burnt out. I don't know. We'll find out.
Like a tiger saying, Ian, this year is torture. Also, Ian, I missed the torture.
Yeah, I'm a creature of routine. So when my routine gets screwed up, it's when I have a routine set, it's hard when you get out of it, and then it's just the way my brain's wired. I don't know.
No, it totally is. It's like, yay, the season's almost over after this tormentous occasion. 51 regular season losses, plenty of overtime losses, and on top of everything the Kuhre have done or not done this season, it just makes it even worse. But it's been interesting. But yeah, the off season, and I know the guys touched on it on Sunday with the pucknologist, but this is going to be one of the more interesting off seasons in Sharks history.
Yeah, because it's going to be interesting to see what direction they go, right? Obviously, I don't think I don't think you, even if you draft Celebrini, right? I don't think you draft Celebrini and then go, mission done, back to the, now we're competitive again. I don't think that they're going to do anything crazy, sign a bunch of guys and be like, well, we got Celebrini now, so let's go, right?
You mean I shouldn't hold my breath for Stamkos?
Steven Stamkos is going to be a Red Wing.
I know, that's the painful thing. Will he wear 91? That would be the interesting part. But that is down the road. In the here and now, the Sharks played a game against the Calgary Flames. Last time these two teams met, Philip Zadina went off for 4 points. Zadina out with a lower body injury. He won't play. So Mike Hoffman gets in because Kevin LeBanc is the token scratch, it seems like, for the rest of the way, unless something happens. Blackwood in his last 4 starts, 927 save percentage, and spoiler alert, if you're looking at the scroll, he did pretty good tonight as well. But things got going nice and early. Zetterlund, the Granlund to Eklund. The Lund line delivers, and Slippery Pete with some nice, silky smooth hands to make it 1-0.
Yeah, just really just a really pretty backhander to put the puck in the net. Was it a backhander? It was just a stupid shot. It was a backhander. Really slick backhander. One of those just goal scorer goals. I know it's really cliche, but that's the best way I could describe it, man. So it's that's a goal scorer's goal. It's just a really good play. I'm glad Eklund has really come on at the end of the season here. I think obviously with the people that are out of the lineup, which we've talked about to death at this point, it's nice to see Eklund kind of because he has a bunch of points, and I can't remember what the number is right now, but I know he's on a point streak. And it's just nice to see, right? And then him and Granlund and Zetterlund seems to be good chemistry there, so I like that. I like that line. I think that's. I hope that's probably a line that'll probably be together next season too. So I think it's one of the few lines on this team that can play some fun hockey.
Yeah, big time. And I'm not holding my breath here with 4 games to go. If Eklund can get a goal a game, just saying it'd be nice to have another 20 goal scorer on this team.
Yeah, I mean, 4 games left, so I mean, the odds are not in his favor. But I think that, I mean, you want to just see. I think for guys like Eklund, you just want to see progression, and I think you've seen that this season. I think that he's a lot better on the puck this year. I thought last year he was kind of easy to get off the puck. I feel like he's harder to get off the puck now. I think, again, confidence is obviously there. I think, the way he's played he's played basically the whole season without really, he had a little bit of a lapse kind of late middle season, a little bit after the middle of the season. He had a little bit of a down time there, but I think the whole team was kind of down too, right? You Logan Couture comes back and he gets hurt again, and he goes back and he basically can't go. That's got to be pretty, after waiting for half the season for him to get back in the lineup. I think that's deflating for just the whole team, right? And then obviously Tomas Hertl gets traded. That's pretty fucking deflating. I think that was deflating for everyone in the room, outside of the room. So I mean, I think that, all things considered, I've liked Eklund's season for the most part. I think, there are some times where, he maybe wasn't putting up the points you'd want him to put up, but I think you want to see progression, like I said earlier, right? And I think you've seen that with Eklund this year. So it's positive, obviously, because Eklund's going to be you want Eklund to obviously be a part of the solution going forward. And I think he's showing that he has potential to do that.
Very much so. Chris Martin in the chat, excited. I don't think it was exited, but excited to see Eklund next season. He's made great strides this year, and I was afraid he wasn't. And it kind of speaks to what you just said. He had a struggle in the middle of the year. He's come on strong with this team. And this team, I think, has played a little bit better over the last week or so. Getting the shutout against St. Louis. You had the hat trick win with Eklund, getting the hat trick, and then Devin Cooley. Damn it! I know. I swear to God.
I know.
I haven't watched that many Coyotes games this year. I swear. Of course, the Coyotes beat the Sharks the next day, but they've hung in there. I thought they played well tonight as well.
They started well. I mean, they had how many shots in the third period?
I believe it was like the Sharks had 3. Calgary, I think, had close to, what was it, 22, if I'm not mistaken.
It was pretty
ridiculous.
Bad, right?
Yeah.
I look at part like
13. I just felt 22. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good third period for them. I think that the fact that they made it to overtime, I mean, that's Mackenzie Blackwood, I think, who had a really good game tonight.
Oh, phenomenal game.
Unfortunately, they got kind of scrambly. We'll get to the overtime goal. Let's I have things to say about that.
Got it. All right. We'll keep going. Even though Calgary dominated in shots, the Sharks did outshoot their opponent 9-8. And I believe Randy Hahn was mentioning it wasn't until the home game against Chicago was the last time the Sharks had outshot an opponent in a period.
Yeah.
That's to quote the great Randy Hahn. That's like icing on the power play, which is never good.
Yeah.
Calgary would come back on strong, but Jacob MacDonald with a sweet backhander to get his career high 7th goal of the season to make it 2-0. And things seemed pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was looking good. I think Dustin Wolf, like, this is the thing with goalies, right? Like, it's hard. We always talk about the adjustment going from junior to the AHL and the AHL to the NHL. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, I like Dustin Wolf. I think Dustin Wolf has a future in the NHL. I think he's going to be a good goalie in the NHL, but he's still trying to find his way. And this Calgary team isn't good. Let's also call that out, right? Like, this Calgary team, not very good. I don't think Dustin Wolf was particularly good to start the game. And I know he's had some struggles. I think if you look at his NHL numbers, that they would bear that out. Mm-hmm. That he's definitely had some struggles. But I think, I think it's one of those things where it's just growing pains after playing, because the Calgary Wranglers are a really good AHL team, right? And then you come up and it's one of those funny situations where you come up to the NHL and you end up on a worse team in the better league.
Right.
Just one of those weird things, right? So I think he's going to be fine. I think, it's a little bit of growing pains there, but I think he's going to be good. Like, I really like Dustin Wolf. I've seen a lot of Dustin Wolf hockey. I think he's got the goods, but so far in the NHL, it just hasn't shown it as much as probably Calgary Flames fans would like at this point, but finished the game really strong.
Yeah, he did. Let me ask you this, because both goals kind of went high glove side, and I remember the game on February 15th where they kind of went for that spot too. Is that just something that you've seen, especially with him being with the Wranglers, and even back then with the Stockton Heat, that you go glove side high on him? Because it just seems like that's where the Sharks were aiming for.
That's where the Sharks were aiming for. Yeah, that's funny. Now that you mentioned that, I don't, man. Just Dustin Wolf is just like, he's such a stone cold killer in the AHL, though. I don't know if that's a weakness. Like, it's something obviously that I think he's gonna want to take note of. I think that's the thing with NHL goalies, right? NHL goalies, especially ones that come bursting out of the, just bursting out of nowhere, and it's amazing. So much coaching now is video coaching, and I think that there's so much videotape on everyone now, whether it be in the AHL and the NHL, what have you. And I think what separates the really good goalies from just the okay goalies and your backups, your 1Bs, is the ability to adjust your game and make adjustments once the book is out on you. And I think that's what separates the truly great goalies from the not so great goalies, right?
Yeah. And like you said, really like Dustin Wolf's game. It's shown a lot better in the AHL. We'll see how it goes. But he stayed strong the rest of the way, stopping everything that was put at him. Then Calgary started making their comeback, which, another comeback against the Sharks, unfortunately. But, you started getting Rasmus Anderson on a where he picks up his own rebound for his ninth to make it 2-1. And then about 10 minutes after that, Nazem Kadri on the power play does it to the Sharks again, who I think he's got like an 11-game point streak against San Jose.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Kadri. He just has her number.
Yeah, it's just unreal. I mean, defensive breakdown more than anything. I mean,
yeah,
like
definitely.
I almost want to say the Kadri, the goal. There were like 3-4 Sharks looking at the puck carrier, left Kadri wide open for him to bury it there. And then that would be two.
Here's the thing, like Jerry F saying both Sharks goals tonight were backhander glove side. The thing with backhanders are kind of deceptive though, because it's really hard as a goalie to figure out where that puck is actually going to go. Like it's a lot easier to figure out where a puck's going to go when someone shoots from their forehand. Backhanders are fucking annoying because they can kind of, there's not really a one set way they're going to go.
Right.
They're a little more tricky for a goalie to figure out which direction they're actually going to end up going than a forehand shot, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. It's almost like because it's on the other part of your curve on your stick, it just can.
Oh, it can go in like 3 different directions.
Right. So, yeah, but good point, Jerry. Yeah, backhander glove side, indeed. Chris correcting themselves, saying I've taken to drinking when watching games at home. LOL. Well, yeah, we don't blame you for that, for sure. Third period, Calgary just was dominating.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the Sharks got a shot on goal until like the 4-minute mark left in the third period, and that's even including a power play. They got fortunate to get a cross-checking call by Coleman to set up a power play late in the third and into overtime, which didn't do crap. And then Ferraro takes a holding call, and unfortunately, Andrei Kuzmenko, who seems to have found himself a home in Calgary after being traded from Vancouver, gets the game-winning goal. Your thoughts on that one?
So, this is where I get to have some fun.
Okay.
Remember once upon a time when I said that face-offs aren't as important as people think they are? Because if you lose the puck right after the face-off, it doesn't really matter that you won the face-off. Well, that's what we're doing. We're going to talk about that. Because what happens is the Sharks win the face-off, and then they win the face-off to Henry Thrun. Henry Thrun loses the puck, and they never get it back. Now, obviously, Mackenzie Blackwood ends up, basically on his back, which is not a great place for a goalie to be if you don't have the puck. But this whole play starts because Henry Thrun loses the puck off the faceoff. And then they never get it back. And eventually, there's a bunch of scrambling in front of the net. No one can get it. I think it was, I'm trying to see who it was that was in front of the net as for playing defense. Was it Ruda? Was it Ruda and Thun? Who is that?
I want to say it was Ruda.
Yes, it's Jan Ruda.
Yeah.
Jan Ruda ends up also on his belly, and he can't get the puck. It's just like, not a great penalty by Mario Ferraro. And then again, you end up basically you win a faceoff, but you can't keep the puck after it, so it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you won a faceoff, but what did it matter for the Sharks there? They possessed it for 3 seconds.
Right.
Like Henry Thrun can't lose the puck there. Like that's the big thing, right? Like Henry Thrun has to be harder on that puck once they win the faceoff, but he's not. He's like probably. I like Henry Thrun a lot, but man, that was not a good look for him because I think he lost the puck way too easy, and then the Sharks never recover, and the game's over. And I mean, great, the game's over. I mean, congratulations, San Jose. You pick up a point, but it's fine. I don't think like everyone's like, oh my god, if they win their last 4 games, they'll get past Calgary, but or get past Chicago. But like, do you look at this team and say, this is a team that has a 4-game winning streak in them? Like, they didn't deserve to, like, this wasn't a game that they deserved to win.
I don't think
right? Like, they didn't deserve to win this game. So it's not like, oh, they lost a game they deserve to win. The run's going to start. Like, nothing in this team tells me that they're going on a run. Which is good, right? I don't know. I know it's not mathematically done, but as far as I'm concerned, man, it's done.
Yeah.
I keep saying it, and it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. You watch, but it's done.
Yeah, the Sharks lose 3-2 in overtime. They pick up a point, so they are now at 45 points with 4 games left. That means their max number is 53.
Yes.
Chicago is currently sitting at 51. They play St. Louis Wednesday.
Yeah, and St. Louis isn't beating anybody, so
it's up in the air on that one. Although St. Louis is barely by by their chinny chin chin, like a little stubble on a beard, hanging on to playoff lives. Because if they lose, they're virtually done. If they were lose, they're at 87 points with 4 games to go, so they still have a chance. But a regulation loss would go a long way to helping Vegas and Los Angeles clinch their playoff spots, which are the only 2 that haven't been taken just yet.
But I look at the St. Louis Blues and I'm like, do you see a run in that team based on how they've played lately? Like, they're done.
Right. So, again, so 53 is the max that the Sharks have. Chicago's at 51. So 54 would be the magic number here. Granted, now that I'm looking at it with 4 games...
Well, no, because the Blackhawks, let's say the Blackhawks...
Go ahead.
If they win another game, that puts them...
That puts them at 50... That puts them at 24, but...
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it would put them at 53, which I think is what's the max the Sharks can do now at this
54.
point? 54. So, yeah, that's not
now the thing is also is that Chicago, because remember the first tiebreaker is regulation wins. Chicago's
Correct.
At 17, San Jose is at 13. So a win by Chicago would put them at 18 regulation wins if they were doing a regulation, 24 overall. So a win to Wednesday would literally put the Sharks into a must win everything here on out with 4 to go.
I just don't see it like this. I think, like, other than St. Louis, I think the Chicago has definitely the harder schedule of remaining games. But again, I don't know. I can't. In order to think that this thing's in trouble, you have to believe that the Sharks are capable of a run at this point. And they just aren't.
No, I'm trying to pull up the Hawks schedule right now with what's left for them. I know the Sharks have at Seattle Thursday, Saturday the home finale against Minnesota, and then they will have Edmonton on Monday, and
Edmonton and Calgary.
Yeah, in Calgary on Thursday. The rare time where the Sharks have like 2 days off in Alberta, which is weird. For Chicago, it's on the road to St. Louis Wednesday, home to Nashville, home to Carolina, on the road to Vegas, and on the road in LA to finish up their campaign. So they have a game in hand.
That's pretty nasty.
So that's pretty bad. It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see. I mean, they could probably pick up a point or 2 in that next run. If they get a win, it really wraps things up. Honestly, because the Sharks can't match the total, so that it would go down drastically there. So
I don't, like I said, the to believe that this is even remotely in trouble is the belief that the Sharks have a run in them. And like I said, they're not going to play a lot of teams with things to play for. Obviously, Seattle, nothing. Minnesota, nothing. Calgary, again, nothing. Edmonton is still going to want
Maybe.
points.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're going to. I think they're going to be playing for positioning. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, looking at the Western Conference standings now in the Pacific, Edmonton
Yeah, they're pretty
is
locked into their spot. So
yeah, it was 6 games ago.
it
Edmonton at
depends.
99.
Is this going to be a game where Edmonton does load management and doesn't play guys? Sits guys like Draisaitl or Crosby, Jesus Christ, McDavid. Like, do they play like 5 minutes and then, these are the things that you have to be concerned with. But at the same time, again, I don't.
It's one of those
I'd
things
be more
like
scared if the Sharks were actually good, but they're not.
it's one of those things where maybe, all right, does McDavid or Draisaitl or Hyman have any milestones they got to hit this year? Then you can maybe make a statement for that.
I don't know.
But who knows? Maybe they call up a handful of Condors to help out or just set up a different lineup. So
yeah, you just wonder if you're going to see some load management as things kind of get closer to the end here. But still, again, it all boils down. And I keep saying this. I know it's probably getting annoying at this point, but like, do you honestly believe the Sharks have a run in them?
No, but I could see them potentially getting 2 wins out of those
they could beat any of these
4
teams, right? I'm not. I think yes. Like, could they beat any of these teams? Of course they could.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to beat all 4? No.
In other words, would you put money on it? Doubtful.
I wouldn't. I would not. Yeah. I mean, I would absolutely put money on the Sharks not winning the last 4 in a row.
Yeah. But the bummer, getting back to Blackwood, 1-5 in his last 6 starts, .927 save percentage.
Yeah, but it's team's garbage, so
yeah,
that's not his fault. I mean, it
just sucks because you see one great thing and then you look at the records like, oh, wow.
Yeah, but look, I mean, but I still think like if you take wins out of the equation, like his counting stats are still pretty good considering the team in front of him.
Yeah. So the Sharks lose in overtime 3-2. They go to Seattle Thursday to take on the Kraken at one of my favorite arenas in the NHL, Beauty in Seattle. But let's kind of look at some of the races, though. I mean, we talk about the Pacific. Edmonton is 5 points behind Vancouver for the division lead. That's almost wrapped up. But
yeah, I mean they have a lot of games left. Like they have more games left than most teams, right? Actually,
6.
They've only played 70. They've got 6 left. So, yeah, I mean they could get up there on Vancouver. I don't think Vancouver's getting caught, but we'll see.
Yeah, although they've had their bumps lately. The crazy race in the Central. I mean, Dallas 107, and they've kind of stretched out their lead a little bit more.
Yeah, they're at 109 now.
Or 109.
Yeah.
Wow, NHL.com. I refreshed this page 2 minutes ago. So, thank you for that. Colorado, I know they were. Nathan McKinnon had at least a 4.9 the last time I checked and was going off. Cale Makar had like 3 points going in. They're at number 2 seed. Winnipeg's right behind them at 100, which was the juggernaut I thought earlier in the season. They've kind of come back down to earth, or is it that Colorado and Dallas have just been that good still?
I mean, Jets have won their last 4, so I mean, it's not like they've squandered too much. I just think it's an issue of the Stars and the Avalanche have played more games than them.
Yeah, it's just unreal race in the Central. Don't forget Nashville. They've kind of hit a couple of speed bumps lately after their run ended.
Yeah, but they're clinched.
But they're just about clinched. Yeah,
they are clinched.
They are clinched?
They are clinched. They clinched today.
Okay, let me refresh NHL.com. Let's see if it recognizes this, or do we have to wait for the actual graphic to?
No. I am on NHL.com. They're showing me Nashville is clinched.
again, so they waited till maybe the end of all the games action. Yeah, Nashville is clinched with the point that they got tonight with 3 games left. So Nashville is in now. It's just LA and Vegas that are
trying to figure out who's going to finish, who's going to play Edmonton, or who's going to be in the wild card.
And take on, I would think, well, that remains to be seen. They can flip back and forth because Nashville has 3 games left. Vegas has 5 games left.
Yeah.
Gotta say, that was weird last night watching Tomas Hertl not in Teal. Just, man.
I was going to watch it and I was like, whatever.
Yeah. But good to see tossing pucks into the stands as usual for Hertl. The little commercial that they did with him was funny too. Way to jump on that marketing opportunity. But in the East, you look at it.
The East is amazing.
This is just crazy. The Islanders at 87, Capitals at 85, Pittsburgh at 84, Detroit at 84, Philly at 83. This one's definitely going to be coming down to the final.
So it's the thing that's super fascinating to me is not really fascinating, but like unfortunate too. I think like the Flyers in Detroit were in there the whole season and then fell apart at the end. The Flyers, like I like John Tortorella, but like when the Flyers really seem to just fall apart?
Once he scratched Couturier?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I think, probably misplayed his hand there. I don't know what the beef is with him and Couturier, but like they are 1-6-3, in their last 10. It's wild. Detroit, Detroit's another team that like, again, you thought that this was finally the year they turned the corner there. I don't think it's going to be like super panic in Detroit. Like I don't think anyone's job's in jeopardy per se. I think Detroit lost Dylan Larkin, and that's kind of where their things started going, right. Which, you lose your best player. That's going to happen. I think Detroit's still on the come up. I think it's disappointing, obviously, if they can't find a way in. But like, what year is it? Because it's it seems like the Capitals and the Penguins fighting for that last wild card spot. Like it's just
yeah,
one last time. Although it's funny, because the Islanders sneaking up into the third in the Metro. It's weird, man. It's fucking weird.
They had a big win tonight against the Rangers.
Yeah. 7-3-0 in their last 10. I think they might have the best goaltender in the league, in Ilya Sorokin, although I do like Shesterkin too. I don't know, man. Yeah, the East is fascinating. Right. The West is basically done. I still think the West is done. The Blues aren't catching anybody. But the East is fascinating.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating.
Toronto with the win over New Jersey tonight. San Ramon, California's Austin Matthews with his 66th of the year, and they're just 3 points behind Florida, who looked like they were the dominant one in the East, looking for the President's Trophy. They've are in second to Boston, who's done it again, and going full stride on there, but.
Yeah, Boston. Boston's a team. Like I always hate when it's time to do brackets. Boston is the team that I always hate to see, like to try and figure out like who's gonna win. Whenever Boston's there, I always get scared because like the fucking Bruins, man. Like they're just they are a cockroach in the playoffs, I find. Yeah. I think Boston, like. They're just such a well-run organization. It's just that, like, if you want, like, when people, like in San Jose, there was so much talk about culture. But like, if you want to look at a team where, like, you can just tell the culture is strong. It's Boston, man. Different coach, players retire, and they just don't miss a beat.
Right. It's I mean, you lose your captain, and it just keeps going and going. And tip to them, they've been phenomenal. No matter what. Chara, no problem. Krejci, no problem. Come back, Krejci, then leave, no problem.
Yeah, Boston, Tampa, like, phew, that would be the matchup right now. And I have no idea, because both of those teams are just both teams where it's like, though, like they always scare me when I'm doing my bracket, because they can just go on a run.
Florida, Toronto. I mean, that would be
Florida, Toronto will be fun. I don't think people are going to be as excited to play Florida this year as they were last year. If you're in Toronto, remember last year how they were just like, "Oh man, we're playing Florida. It's over. We're going like the final." Yeah. I don't think there's I don't think that's going to be the chant this time around.
It'd be more like, "Oh crap, Florida."
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do some playoff predictions once.
Oh yeah,
once we get to it. But it's just gonna be fascinating the last week, getting into
yeah, man.
Yeah,
the East is so fascinating. Like, I think there's some, like, I'm not afraid of the bottom of the Metro. Like the Rangers and the Hurricanes, those teams are scary. I think whoever plays, like, I think the Hurricanes are gonna take care of whoever manages to get in there, whether it be, whether the Islanders can hold on, or if it turns out like Washington or Pittsburgh can slide in there. I still think the Hurricanes take care of business in the first round. And I'm not like, I don't know. I just, Tampa's the team that would bother me in the wild card. They're the only wild card team that really scares me. I think Nashville at one point would have scared me, but they've kind of come back to earth a little bit after that ridiculous run they went on. I think if they had maintained that, I think I'd be a little scared, but I still think they're going to get pounded in the first round. Vegas, though, I mean, if it's Vegas as your second wild card, that, I think Vegas always scares me because, once the playoffs start, everyone comes back. So
Vegas and Dallas would be the matchup right now.
Yikes. Sorry, Dallas.
Tomas Hertl versus Joe Pavelski. Yeah. So
I don't know. I mean, Vegas' goaltending has been kind of suspect of late, though. So I don't know. It depends on who's back.
But At the same time, Ottinger hasn't exactly, been.
No, and that's where, like, I think in previous years I'd be like, oh, Dallas, Ottinger, but I don't have that confidence in Ottinger going into this playoff. I think there's a lot of other reasons that Dallas could pick up a series win, but Jake Ottinger would not be as high on that list as he would have been in previous seasons.
Yeah, big time. So that gets you caught up on the world of the NHL. Kuhre play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken?
They might. I don't know. They might. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm around, maybe I'll watch. I don't know.
Yeah, they are home on Wednesday, taking on the Henderson Silver Knights.
Fun.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Joe Ward used to be an assistant for them. He's with the big club now. I'm just saying. We talk about Warsofsky maybe as
sure.
If the Kuhre were to move on from McCarthy, Warsofsky, Joel Ward might not be a bad choice too.
I don't. Is he going to go back from being an assistant to going to head coaching an AHL team though? Like, I don't see it.
Yeah. All right.
It's a weird step. Like, not to say that it never happens. Like, Jay Woodcroft went from being an assistant, like, well, obviously it's a different thing to assistant coach in the NHL, but he went back to be an assistant coach in the NHL. Yeah, I mean, it's not unheard of, but I don't know. Again, I feel like I'll believe John McCarthy's fired when they actually fire him.
Yeah. So the Kuhre have 5 games left. You have Henderson on Wednesday, and then a back-to-back starting Friday and Saturday with the Texas Stars, and then they finish up in Tucson a week later. So,
I mean, again, like, I think at this point, right, you just want to see, you want to see, obviously, like, Philip Beasted's playing. I think he's been good so far. I mean, there's definitely things to be, like, there's things to watch on the Kuhre. they're just at a point now in the season though where like I'm not going out of my way to watch it. Like if I'm home and the Kuhre are on, I will turn it on, but I'm like not going out of my way to watch them at this point. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If you want to watch Philip Beestead, if you're looking for other names to watch, like obviously, like Ethan Cardwell's had a great rookie season for the Barracuda.
Yeah, yes.
He's that's a player to obviously, I think, if you want to see positives of like, hey, who do I who should I watch that could be somebody at some point. I think Ethan Cardwell's a guy who could be something at some point. Obviously, Daniel Gushkin is still a guy that I like, and I think it's kind of criminal that he never got called up. But again, injuries have been a factor down there, and they do have a bunch of guys on ETOs too. So
yeah,
that doesn't make me super excited to watch.
Yeah, so you can enjoy the Kuhre. They have 3 home games in the next 4 nights. Just be on the lookout if you want to get your hockey fix in. This is it, folks. I mean, no more hockey in the area until next season after Saturday. I mean, there are a couple of road games for each team, but that's it after that. So if you want to get it in now while you can. So enjoy
I think like Kuhre games, like going there would be a good time. Like I said, it's not like again, right? Like there's so many hours in a day, and it's not like there's like still guys like I want to watch, and like I said, if they're on and I'm not doing something else, then great. But I just think at this point in the season, right? Like I've done my time. They're not playing for anything, so like, yeah.
And you know what? That's a great way to say we've done our time. So in case you missed anything, or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, no longer Google Podcasts, on YouTube Music, YouTube itself, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, Odyssey. We're all over the place. Of course, if you are watching us on YouTube, leave us a comment down below. Hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell, because when news happens, we do go on the air.
That's true. Yes, if something crazy happens, we will come on and talk about it.
That's right. Like that legendary Alex Stalock acquisition.
Alex Stalock, man, could be the end of the line for Stalock.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's been announced officially, but I know on the last time that who's he on the Gulls? When the Barracuda played the Gulls, the Nick Nolenberger had mentioned that there was a lot of people in attendance. That like Stalock's family, friends had a lot of people there in attendance. So if it really is the end of the road for Alex Stalock, I think what a career, man. Like if you want to talk about a guy who really beat the odds, he had that horrible injury. That I was in Worcester, right?
Yeah.
And he came back and, okay, maybe he was never, the starting goalie that maybe we had hoped he was when he was drafted, but played a shit ton of NHL games. And I think, that's the one thing about the conversations about the draft that really annoy me. Is when people are like, oh, well, they drafted this guy, but he wasn't here. And it's like, yeah, but that guy played 600 NHL games. Like, that matters.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't know.
You didn't get 600 games for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Alex Stalock. I don't know how many games Alex Stalock has. I've just pulled that number out of my ass for a different player. But, like, I just think, I don't know. Sometimes I think that the conversation around draft picks is like, it's no, don't get me wrong, it's nice when the guy develops and like is a big person for your team specifically, but if a guy goes on and plays 600 games and your team drafted that guy, that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find him at Ian Blogs Hockey on the Twitter machine. I'm at PuckGuy14 everywhere. We will be back with you Thursday following Sharks and Kraken. That is I believe that's a 7 p.m. start at Climate Pledge Arena. And then we'll be here to break it all down for you the rest of the way. We're almost there, folks. 4 more games at
Almost there.
At Ian Street, are you like, sleep again? At Seattle at 7 p.m. on Thursday, home to Minnesota. That's the fan appreciation home finale Saturday at 7:30, and then next Monday and next Thursday in Alberta, taking on Edmonton and Calgary, respectively. So, for all of us here, thanks for watching. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real, Teal. Thanks for joining us, and Teal together, everyone. Have a good night.